I'm Kathleen Hall, and this is The Way I See It.
I'm Ken Pierre, and this is the way I see it.
Well, I thought that we would talk. I had to write it. I didn't have to, but I wrote an article or contributed to an article about jealousy and stress. And I thought it was interesting because it's from a very popular magazine, and they were talking about the incredible increase in jealousy. And I said, really? So we started discussing it, and social media has increased our jealousy level in this world something exponentially, like the wildfires in California. I had no idea.
Listen to Dr. Hall with these bars.
So these researchers studied it, and it's really unbelievable. And this is nothing new. It has evolutionary roots, but still, even Shakespeare so famously called jealousy the green-eyed monster, and that was a long time ago. And I think it's important to understand some of the evolutionary roots, meaning that if you and I were partners back in the cave days, I get pregnant, and back then they didn't know who the father was. So if I started hanging around with guys and going out and collecting herbs and trying to get a rabbit or whatever we were doing, and I came back later and this baby's growing in me. Exactly, not on my watch. Exactly, because he doesn't know back then whose baby that is. So you can see jealousy was more of for the man to the woman. Now, for the woman to the man, jealousy was an evolutionary necessity because I have this baby, I have these children to feed, and he has to go get the rabbit, maybe find the new cave we live in when the old cave wears out. Whatever happens, so my instinct is he's got to be here. And so when he looks at Sue Ellen walking by in her little cave outfit and looks at her, I'm going, whoa, that is mine, and I need it for the protection and longevity of my children, protection. So it's got evolutionary roots. So that's, and the reason I threw that in was to be compassionate with yourself and not go, oh my God, because I grew up Catholic like you did.
I did.
And, you learn about the 7 deadly sins, and you learn about how evil you are when you feel this way or it gets out of control. So I'm into self-compassion and no judgment at this stage. So just realize it's a normal emotion. The problem is when it becomes the green-eyed monster and
it takes over everything.
And of course, I know it well because of being on Wall Street and the World Trade Center and my previous life. The jealousy between each of us, between brokers or buying and selling companies, and there were no women there. It was so vicious. It's even pretty much beyond belief. And women in my life, whether you had a great husband or beautiful kids, or my kid, how many bumper stickers have we seen? My child's an honor student or whatever. The jealousy has just been ridiculous. And you, in the military and things, you've seen it in a different spectrum.
I'm not even going to go to the military. I'll just go to, like you said, social media. Like, I grew up in the era where it was, starting out. So, and I had different influences in my life where people know me from where they met me, but as I grew through life and they followed me through social media, people would honestly leave me comments and messages. Remember, like, I had a friend that played for the Dallas Cowboys, and I was in the military. Most military people love the Dallas Cowboys. So for them to know that one of my friends is playing and I'm in the military and I'm getting flown out to games.
Darts.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm surprised, this guy hasn't given you this, that, and the third, like, all on social media. So I had to take a step back because that's a perception that I was giving out to people. So I needed to reel it back in and look at my life and like, is this really what I want to portray?
Yeah, and a spiritual teacher I had once, we were talking about jealousy or wanting a different career or maybe authoring a book or whatever you think you've wanted to do. And she laughed and she said, Kathleen, don't you realize that when people are jealous of something someone else has or what they're doing, that's not their life. They don't have a right to be jealous. That if they worked for something or if they're a teacher or a writer or whatever, that's their destiny in this lifetime. That's what they have achieved. It's what they do. It's not even yours to want that. Your whole design and being and trajectory of your life was meant for something different. So it really, really was such a beautiful spiritual thing too, to look at it that way. But, even in our neighborhood,
Yeah.
I mean, jealousy of yards.
Of the yards
Yeah,
here.
I mean, where'd you get the flowers?
Who has the
Or-
best flowers?
Yeah,
Where's the pine straw that you use?
Yeah, it's so deep in your yard. I mean, did we all use the same community service, or do you have somebody? I mean, really, seriously.
It's funny.
I mean, my husband's a physician. You hadn't seen jealousy until you've seen this doctor group. So it is everywhere, and the point is to. So what are we going to do about it? So you and I talked about this, and we have a little acronym that we use at the Mindful Living Network, and it's called ACE, ACE, and A is awareness. So and how to become aware? Notice the symptoms. Do you have psychological symptoms? Am I watching my husband's phone at night? Do I think he's screwing around or doing something? Am I noticing one of the neighbors when she's jogging and just staring at her outfits and going, is she losing weight, or is she? I mean, really seriously. Or are you at work and one of your friends goes in and the boss closes the office door and they both go in there and you go, I know she's getting a promotion, or I know she's talking to me. Whatever it is, awareness of your emotions, okay? So be aware about the green monster, and it's a bad feeling, number one. 2, physical symptoms. If your heart starts racing, your stomach gets tight, you don't want to eat, you notice that your time is being taken up by these jealousy, whether it's hypervigilance or whatever. And then the third symptom is relational. Is it causing fights in your partnership, in your relationship? What is it at work? Are you starting to get paranoid and separate yourself from other people? Because it will have physical, emotional, and it will have relational symptoms. So be aware. So awareness is the number one. Be aware of it. Then have self-compassion and go, wow, this is really interesting that I am jealous of Ken. And he knows the Dallas Cowboy guy. I can't even look at him when he passes me or read his posts anymore. So it's not about him. It's about me. What hole is in me? So that's awareness, and have self-compassion. And then next is choices. So the choices are, you can journal and go, wow, what is this bringing up to me? Is it that he got dealt a better hand? I believe he's luckier than I am. I've worked all this time and it's not working. What is it for you? So, and then make a choice and say, I'm not going to live this way. I'm not. Because jealousy imprisons you. Don't you think of it? I think of it. Yeah, it's a cage. And the key's in the door. So it's a horrible thing. And you and I talked about this. I worked at the prison up in the North Georgia mountains. I worked when it was male offenders, and now it's female offenders. It's Arendelle Prison. And if you look at the people that are in prison, whether they murdered somebody, stole something, whatever they did, so much of it started with jealousy. They wanted that shirt you had, or that ring, or that wife, or whatever. It starts with me coveting or wanting jealousy, wanting something else. So awareness is huge, but here's the other thing. If you get the victim mentality, like, oh, I can't help, I'm so jealous of Ken. It's a choice. Okay, so shift it from the victim to the control issue of, this is a choice. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to be in bondage. I'm not going to put myself in prison. And my life was meant for a higher purpose than being jealous.
I agree.
Yeah, it's just a thing. And then the A is awareness, C is the choice, and E is the energy of the experience. And go, wow, now I can see how it escalates. And jealousy is information. So if I think that Ken is doing something and I start checking his computer and his iPhone and stuff, that's time for him and I to have a meeting, don't you think?
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, don't you? I mean, if it starts like that, it's time. Or if in a marriage or at work, don't you think it's time to ask Sue Ellen or Carol or whomever went into the office with your boss exactly, and go over and have a cup of coffee and go, hey, I've noticed you guys have been in there talking. What's going on? It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to get to the truth of yourself and your situation in life.
I definitely agree with that as well.
But always remember too, Shakespeare. Can be the green-eyed monster, and it can ruin your life.
It can.
And I know you've had a lot of relationships, and also people that are jealous can think, I'm in this relationship with Ken, and I'm jealous here, but when I leave this relationship, I won't be that way with my next partner, Jim.
Yeah, right.
You've seen it probably serially with a lot of your friends, and
I have.
And it's women as much as men, or in relationships a lot of times more.
I agree.
Yeah. So anyway, let us know about your relationship with jealousy. Email us, text us, let us know. We definitely want your input. We'd love to hear how you either handled it, survived it, or didn't, and your experience.
My name is Ken Pierre. This is the way I see it.
And I'm Kathleen Hall. This is the way I see it. Have a great day.
You guys have a great day and a great weekend. Enjoy the weather. Have a good day.